I think I started to realize that the vested way of working was far beyond a buyer-supplier relationship when I gave a speech in Victoria, and the head of finance and legal operations came to me and said, "Kate, I need to have dinner. Can you meet with me and my attorney?" And I thought, "You and your attorney? Okay." And she tells me about this story. That they'd had a real issue and a very toxic relationship with their doctors. And it was so sad because if you're in healthcare, who's more precious than the doctors or your nurses that take care of you? And they had this horrible culture that they were dealing with, and they couldn't get along. And so one of the things that we came in and did was called an alignment workshop. And we said, you know what? You don't have to change your entire world, but let's just get aligned. And let's start with the thought of culture and trust. And let's put that elephant in the room. And that's one of the things we do is we help people put the elephant in the room and why don't they have a good culture. We have this tool called the Compatibility and Trust Assessment. And I love this assessment. We've been doing it for about 9 years. And it gives you a score for your cultural fit and trust in a relationship. Doesn't matter if it's buyer, supplier, hospitalist and administrators, functional silo to functional silo. Any people in your ecosystem can take this, and it gives you a gauge, a score. And the score that they had was quite low. But what really intrigues me is at the end of the survey, we asked them to name 3 adjectives to describe their culture. 84% of the adjectives were negative: toxic, distrustful, opaque, adversarial. Who wants to be in that culture? So we put that front and center into this alignment workshop, and we said, we want you to choose what you want it to be like. You get to pick. Employees, you team, all the people in this room created this negative culture. And you can create the positive culture. What do you want that to look like? And so they envisioned what their positive culture was. And then they went through the vested methodology where they changed the way they work. They took out the perverse incentives and the transactional mentality. They moved to a relational way of working, putting things like honesty, integrity, respect, front and center into the relationship and how they behaved. 18 months later, 86% of the adjectives were positive. It's night and day. I literally, you can't make this stuff up, that you can take this relationship, no matter who's in your relationship that's negative, and by consciously saying, I want to change the system and how we work, you can create a positive culture.